Hello friends, today we will learn to make this Sukhoi in watercolor. While drawing a plane may look very tricky because of so many elements on its outer body, but we must focus on the outer lines and make sure that the angles of the wings and the direction where each element is going is correct and the proportions are all right. That's what I'm doing. If you see, I am not worrying about the small pieces, elements, etc. of whatever makes the plane fly, but what I'm doing right now is capturing the big pieces, the angle in which the wings are going, the direction in which the plane is, etc. And wherever under the plane there are elements, the boxes, it's engineering, I'm just leaving some lines there, and that's about it. As you see, bit by bit, just following the directions of the line, the shape of the plane is getting ready. So while an aeroplane may look a bit tricky to make, outlining it is not tricky, but to bring in the elements, because see, the color of the plane is almost monotone, right? It is all gray or all steel. So how will you bring in the effect? That is what the tricky part is, in not drawing the outline. While we can get obsessed by making the wings or things absolutely accurately, making sure that the proportions and directions in which lines are going are all right, and we are done. That's what we will need at this stage. So you see, under the plane there are elements, and I'm just drawing shapes and not thinking that it's a plane. I don't even know what that is, by the way, so I cannot even use my imagination or my memory to see what it is, but I'm just following what is on the screen or on the reference picture and following the dark, the light, the angle, etc., and going forward with this. As you can see, bit by bit, following the process, the shape of the plane is taking place. I'm simply looking for shapes all around the body of the plane and then drawing it. Not worried about what it means and what it is. And there we are. The outline is ready. Now we are ready to start coloring the body. I take a fine, not a very small brush, but a nice fine brush which I can handle well, and I start covering the plane with a simple grey tone. This grey can be mixed with paint grey or watered down with some tinge of green and blue in it. So if you've seen our Indian planes in the Air Force or many other military planes, they have a tinge of green in it. So that's what I've used, and a little bit of a yellow as well. So at this stage I will not be worrying about giving exact color or depth or to the plane body. I'm just taking the grey and painting it all over, leaving some darker or deeper colors wherever the values are absolutely dark. But right now the intent is to cover the entire body with the grey tone. This paper is Chitrapat, so it blots a lot. It's a little difficult to handle on Chitrapat, but I've worked a little on it and I thought, why not? Chitrapat is an Indian handmade paper. That's one of the most popular ones that every watercolor artist starts or uses in their journey. So like I said, I am seeing where the darker values are, and I'm just leaving dark color there. Again, at this stage or at any other stage, I will not be worrying about what that shape means. All I will do is just leave dark color where I see dark color, in the shapes that I see, and that's about it. Now wherever I believe that there is some darker tinge or shape, I am just now going on to with the second layer and doing that. Always keep a bit of a tissue paper in your hand so that you can wipe out any excess that you leave on the paper. Coming back again, leaving darker values under the plane because that's what is very dark, and probably we'll have to come time and again to do the same. Trying to fill in the other shapes under the plane. If you see that the change in color will not be as much, same greenish gray is going everywhere. Somewhere it's a little darker, sometimes it's a little lighter, but what can you do? It's all a metal piece, and it has to be all in the same color. I come in adding a little bit of a tinge of brown because there was a little shade there. So the base is same, which is gray and green, and I've added a little brown to it so that there is a little different texture in the color. Painting a bit of a sky and cobalt blue so that I see how the contrast to the plane and sky will look like. So very quickly I'm giving in some color which I'm sure will fade out or dry out, become very light very soon, but I thought might as well do it now so that I know what kind of depth and colors I need to fill in the plane. So right now the plane is looking a little spread out, which means it's come out from the lines, etc. Don't worry about it at this point in time, because when we do detailing, it is going to sort that out. As you can see, I've taken very darker values now, and I have given a definition to the wing, and that is what will happen. So anything which is spread out, blotted, etc., we can make sure that it comes in line with the darker tones. But at this stage we've got to be very careful so that because this is what's going to give the shape to every item or every object on the plane. So I'm trying to fill in the color and also make sure that the objects and the shapes are looking as they should. So bit by bit I'm giving further definition to the plane and its elements. I'm not too bothered about what the items under the plane are. All I'm doing is I'm catching the shape that it is and trying to paint it in the same values that I see. And if you see, I'm working all across the plane. I'm not overdoing a particular section and completing it. I'm going from one end to the other because everything will come in together in totality, and the shades and the values, I have to talk to each other. So I can't like complete one end and go to the other later, and hence I'm working on it in across, left to right, top to bottom, looking at it in as a one piece. So like I said, one section tells me as to what kind of a color or value I have to leave on the other, and I'm going there and doing my bit in comparison to the rest of the plane. This part is more like drawing. So I'm taking a brush and thinking of it as a pen, and I'm drawing out the object and then coloring it or adding the value later. Some more pen work with my brush and making the shapes that I need to. Once again, don't totally obsess about what it is. Is it a missile, or is it something else? Just follow the shapes and leave the value that you believe it should have. So once the darker shapes are in place, I am leaving value here and there. Once again, not worrying too much about the accuracy or exactness of the values, because see, if you look at it carefully, the bottom of the plane is too complex. A human eye cannot figure out what each element means. So we have to leave color in a way that we copy the confusion in some way. Time to leave some further darker values, and again not thinking as to what item it is. I'm just following the values that it is, leaving my brush marks. Now before I overdo the bottom of the plane, I thought let me move my focus to the other areas, because we get trapped into overdoing a particular piece, and I didn't want to do that, and hence I moved to the other area and then came back to the bottom of the plane. As things have started coming together, I thought let's just do up the tires as well, because that will tell us now in comparison to the tires how the rest of the things will look like. So again, the tires I did like used my brush as a pen and gave the shape. Now with the tires I can see as to how the rest of the items or elements around it will look like. So I can come in with a more color and give those kind of values there. I'm following the same process, looking at the reference picture and leaving the color where I believe some values are needed. And this is exactly the watercolor process, so please see what I'm doing and follow. Now you would have noticed while I'm leaving the values where required, I'm also detailing few things now all across the plane, so that the final shape starts coming in and we know as to what values are required where going forward. Like I had said before, that the sky color which we had done blue earlier would fade out completely, and which was true. So it was time to give further blue color, so that now with the new plane values we can figure out the sky, and in contrast to it, what the plane should be looking like. There is no harm taking a scale and using it for giving a absolute perfect line. This you can do with in the buildings or a plane wing, like I am doing right now. The idea is that wherever the perfect line needs to be, you can use a scale if you want. And I'm using a flat brush. I'm not a fan of a flat brush typically, but in buildings and items which are straight absolutely like this, I sometimes use this. Previous values have now become light because watercolor's tendencies. That's why I'm doing it over again. But if you see, I haven't colored everything flat and across. Wherever needed is where I'm leaving the paint. Some fine lines across the body. It is very important to make it look like an actual plane, and these are the elements which make the plane what it is, so might as well go and paint that. Those small things are too critical across. Now zooming both the reference picture and my artwork to show what I'm doing, I've taken some white paint which is called white opaque watercolor, and doing the sharper white shining areas of the metal. While in watercolor we are told always to leave the white, but in a complicated aeroplane kind of a thing, it would be very difficult because it's all over, it's a small dot here and there, so might as well use this. Simply follow how I'm using the white color to give the shape of the items where it's required. White is a very powerful color in doing stuff like this. If you see, I'm not worrying about the accuracy of everything. As long as the feel of the element is the same, I'm going ahead with that. I'm not worried about whether the exact color, shape, further shadows, multiple things within an object is there or not. No, I'm just seeing the feel of it and moving forward from there. as you see now in the tires, we really do not know what that complicated structure and machinery is. So with the brush we are leaving marks so that it looks like complicated machinery, which from far off in a painting makes us look like, yes, there's too much happening there, wires, levers, metal, etc. See, with white on the paper, now the shape is looking a little definitive, and the curves etc. have also come in wherever it was required. So never shy away from using white when required. Now because the white highlights are there, we now can see very clearly where the darker values are needed further, and hence I'm coming back with the darker values and leaving it there. Some element to be painted in the cockpit. Now again, with our naked eyes we can't figure out what is inside, so we are leaving marks here and there in various shades and colors and values, so that it looks like, okay, so multiple things are happening there. Now all across the work will start on small detailing, marks here and there on the plane and the metal, both black and white, which is the dark and the highlights, and across the plane I'm looking for it and giving those values, so kindly observe as to what's happening. The detailing part can frustrate someone that as to when to end. So yes, there is a tendency to overdo it. Please don't do that. But also don't underdo it, because that is what brings out the final beauty. If you've seen, my plane looks like more of a plane and with massive elements only because of the detailing that I've done in the end. So don't miss out on that, but also don't just keep doing it forever, because that messes up the painting. Funniest part of detailing is that you can't even tell as to what exactly you're doing, because all what you're doing is looking at the reference picture and leaving marks across the plane or your painting. So you can't define precisely what detailing is. It's capturing small elements across your painting and copying that. I guess this will be the finer blue of the sky. This is the third layer, and it is necessary because the contrast had died down between the plane and the sky. So yes, this is our final product and the painting. Hope you liked the tutorial. Kindly like, share and subscribe for weekly updates. Thank you.